ta madhye tishtanti rajasa jaganya guna vrittista adho gachanti tamasa. Those situated in a mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. Text 19. Nanyam gunebhyah kartarang yadha drashtanupashyati gunebhyascha parang veti madbhavam sodegacchati. When you see that there is nothing beyond these modes of nature in all activities, and that the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all these modes, then you can know my spiritual nature. Text 20. Gunanetang atityaytrin dehi deha samudbhavan janma mrityu jara dukhair vimukto mritam ashnute. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Text 21. Arjuna vacha kailingai strin gunanetan atito bhavati prabho kim acharakatam chaitangs tringunan ativartate. Arjuna inquired, O my dear Lord, by what symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these modes? What is his behavior, and how does he transcend the modes of nature? Text 22 through 25. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prakasham Shtapavrittim Cha Moham Eva Cha Pandava Nadveshti Sampravittani Nanivrittani Kankshati Udasina Vad Asino Gunayobna Vichalyate Gunavartanti Tyevam Yovatishtaningate Samadhuka Sukha Swasta Samalchana Tuya Priya Priyodhiras Tuya Nindatma Sangstutihi Manapamanayos Tuyas Tuyo Mitrari Pakshayo Sarvarambha Parityagi Gunatita Sauchyate. The Blessed Lord said, he who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present, nor longs for them when they disappear, who is seated like one unconcerned, being situated beyond these material reactions of the modes of nature, who remains firm, knowing that the modes alone are active, who regards alike pleasure and pain, and looks on a clod, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is wise and holds praise and blame to be the same, who is unchanged in honor and dishonor, who treats friend and foe alike, who has abandoned all fruitive undertakings, such a man is said to have transcended the modes of nature. So I believe that's it. So we'll go back to text 15. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when he dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. And prior to this was when one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains pure higher planets. So read the purport. Some people have the impression that when the soul reaches the platform of human life, it never goes down again. This is incorrect. According to this verse, if one develops the mode of ignorance, after his death, he is degraded to the animal form of life. From there, one has to again elevate himself by elevationary process to come again to the human form of life. Therefore, those who are actually serious about human life should take to the mode of goodness, and in good association transcend the modes and become situated in Krishna consciousness. This is the aim of human life. Otherwise, there is no guarantee that the human being will again attain to the human status. Does Maharaj have something to say?
Which text are we reading?
15, we were just reading in the 14th chapter.
Yeah. So there's some people do believe that there's humans only come back as humans, and humans only transmigrate through the human species. I know one particular group. It's a whole religion. That's what they believe. So they don't accept that we've been animals in the past or other species. That's more of passion. In other words, it's good that they accept that there's a soul. And it's good that they accept that the idea is to come to the highest platform. But lacking this sampradaya, this transcendental knowledge through the parampara, one has to get this knowledge through parampara, means the disciplic succession, for it to be perfect knowledge. Otherwise, one is liable to be confused by different theories. Why if the soul, Prabhupada would ask certain questions when they would say that. Some people say animals have no souls. So he said, what is the difference between an animal and a human? Animal eats, human eats. Animal mates, human mates. Human sleeps, animal sleeps. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And human defends himself, and animal defends himself. Where's the difference? They say there's no difference. Okay, so then go through some other, and then they say, well, humans have culture. We have opera, we have ballet. Animals don't have opera and ballet. Well, that's a matter of opinion. If you examine carefully different animals, you'll find some extraordinary abilities, even in the field of ballet and opera. And they may have a different attraction to different type of music, different genre, but you can't say that birds don't like music. And even the jackass. You heard mules sing? Can anyone imitate? That's pretty good. Yeah, they think it's nice poetry, nice, beautiful singing. And any others? They all have their type of. So it's a question of taste only. The thing is, our humans eat quite like animals now. Not much difference in the eating. They eat flesh, humans eat flesh. So you say, name one difference, and you can't name any differences. If you cut the animal's body, it bleeds. If you kill some animals, the higher animals, like they cry with tears in the eyes if their offspring is hurt or killed. So they have feelings. They have emotions. They have life. There's nothing different. So if you can find nothing different, then they'll say, I've heard people say that, well, they can't believe in God. So that's the reason why you think it's okay to eat them? Because they don't believe in God. You say because they can't believe in God. Well, I mean, that's the reason why they don't have a soul. That's the reason why you eat them, right? Because they don't have a soul. If they had a soul, you wouldn't eat them. They say, yeah, if they had a soul, I wouldn't eat it. So if it doesn't have a soul because it can't believe in God, or doesn't believe in God? What are all the humans that don't believe in God? Are they soulless? Do they have no soul? Are they food for humans also? Then they say, I don't want to talk about it. Because they don't have a solid understanding of what the soul is. The soul passes through 8,400,000 species. And these species are on every universe, in every universe. Not necessarily all the species are on every planet, but all the species are in the universe. So there may be some bigger reptiles. They say the dinosaurs were reptiles. They're reptiles. And they get really excited about the dinosaur exhibits of the bones. That proves the Darwin theory is correct. I don't know what it proves. It doesn't really prove anything. But they say there's bigger animals. Animals used to be bigger. But you haven't heard about the Timingala fish, have you? Timingala fish is a fish that can swallow a big whale 100 feet long in one go. They just speak of that. And some of the animals or animal-like species on different planets are gigantic. So this idea of, because they believe in dinosaurs, means everything science is teaching us is correct. That means that Darwin's theory is correct. Means the Big Bang theory is correct. Life comes from matter is correct. Everything because of the dinosaurs. And no one can understand what the dinosaurs, what their existence or non-existence has anything to do with it. So it appears that the premise for modern belief in these things is very weak. There's no support. There's no proof there. But everything is quite provable. If you look at the embryos of 4 different animals, say horse, human, and say a bird, and something, you'll find that the embryos, you can't tell which one's which. So if that's true, and it is true, because you can do the test, I've done it. People can't pick which one was human, which one was horse. So if we went through an embryo that looks so similar to an animal embryo that we can't even tell which one's which, then we could have also been that type of embryo. So that means if we've gone through that embryo, then we've gone through the animal, being an animal before. And what's the difference between an animal and a baby? Baby human. Baby human can't talk. The animal can't talk. Baby humans are less capable than babies of other species. What is it? Is it the horse, the mule? As soon as they come out, it takes them a few seconds or a few minutes to get situated on their legs and they walk. Baby can't do that. And the other animal species, or even the insects, how long does it take for a baby spider to learn the art of catching its own prey? Anyone? No? What would you guess? A few minutes. So he's a smart group, and his spider is a sharp group. Even if the group is a little slow, I'd say a few weeks would be maximum, or a few days. They learn how to do it. Humans, how long does it take them to learn how to eat for themselves. Put a human baby down, it'll die. It won't even know, it'll just cry till it dies. Now, if there's a female breast of a mother around, then he knows what to do. But he can't even walk till then. How long does it take for them to walk? Anyone have brothers and sisters?
No.
So the animals and the lower species excel humans in many ways, and they equal them in all the other ways in terms of the basic characteristics. So with all those same things, how can you say they have no soul? They have life. They have individuality. They have a desire to live. They have identity. They know who they are. They say that a calf can find her mother amidst hundreds of cows. That's amazing. How do they get that intelligence? You can't say they don't have intelligence. They're very intelligent. In terms of intelligence, when a cat wants to get a mouse or get, let's say, a bird, I've seen cat is so intelligent. He knows not to make sudden moves. He stays low. He's moving in, doesn't make any sound. Then he catches it takes a lot of intelligence to do that. And expertise, agility. And similarly, every species has its way of defending itself. The fish know if they stay in the water. Even the ducks know if I get in danger, I just go in the water. These other animals can't. Birds know if they just fly up in the sky that other animals can't harm them. So they all know they have intelligence, they have good judgment, good skills, physical skills, mental ability. There's nothing that makes them disqualified to have a soul. And then you ask, well, what is a soul? You start asking questions. What's a soul? They don't really know. The soul is the person. The body is the vehicle. The soul is different than the body. So a soul can fly in a big 747 airplane, and he can go in a little motorcycle. Vehicles are different, but the driver is the same. Similarly, a soul can drive a big elephant body and you can drive a little insect body. Because the soul is so small. Keshagra Shatabhaga Shatadal Kalpita Shacha. The soul is 1/10,000th the size of the tip of the hair. And then the tip of the hair means the smallest tip. So if you take the hair at its smallest point, and then you divide that 1/10,000th, you divide that by 10,000 pieces, that's the size of the soul. No wonder we can't see it. It's invisible. But you can tell by its presence by the symptoms. If the soul is present, that little tiny soul that no one can see, if he's present, the body has life. It doesn't have life, it appears to be alive. Then the eyes can see, the brain can think, the blood can flow, and when that soul leaves the body, nothing. This is the difference. That's all. Otherwise, there's no difference between an animal or an insect and a human being. Any questions about that?
How is it that the soul can operate a whole body with all the different parts and the blood flowing, and so it's so complex?
He doesn't understand everything about the workings of the body. He doesn't need to understand everything. It's like a driver of a 747. He understands what he needs to know. He learns what he needs to know about how to fly the airplane. He doesn't need to learn every detail, how the pistons are firing and how the molecules in the... He doesn't need to know everything. So he's taught what he needs to know because he's a driver. And the other aspects of the vehicle maintenance is going on by the manufacturers. Just like we have an automobile, it has an engine. So there's a company that builds the engines and they put it in together. So that company is the manufacturer. They guarantee the working mechanism of that engine. And someone else makes the transmission, same thing. So all these different they're demigods. Like demigods. Demigods are running the other parts of the body. And you can read in the Bhagavatam which demigods run which parts. One, for example, the air, Vayu. The demigod Vayu is in charge of the airs in the body too. They have different airs. Some airs go up, some go down. Some act to evacuate. Some act, it's like a hydraulic works on air. So when the hydraulic so we have a hydraulic, and when these hydraulic systems don't work properly, then it's like if you get neurological, then you got problems with your electrical lines. So it's a machine, and the manufacturers make sure that their parts are going, and he's the driver. He has to know how to use different parts of the body. And it's amazing because you wonder, how does that hippopotamus know that he's got one big horn and that he goes really fast? He goes really fast and he's a big, strong animal. If he goes into a tiger, he can kill a tiger. How does he know that? How does he know how deadly that horn is? Excuse me, rhinoceros. Excuse me, hippopotamus doesn't have it. No, rhino. And every species, they know exactly what they've got. They know how to use it. How about the centipede? He's got all these legs. How does he keep them in sync? And you see them walk. It's remarkable. He doesn't know how to do that exactly. He just says, all right, we're going. Let's go forward. Ho! And the legs, they kick in. They do what they're supposed to do. And he gives some word. All right, we're going to stop now. Now we're going to, butterfly says, now we're going to fly. So they have brilliant mystic power. Every living entity has some mystic power that he's endowed with to use his body. It's mystical how things work. For example, you forget some name. This happens a lot when you get older. Forget a name. But you just put it in the hard drive, find. You can put it on automatic, find. And go on with your work and suddenly, that's it. You noticed? It works. How is that? That's amazing. So that's how the living entity. He's given, they call it intuition or instinct, but they don't have a good definition of those words. Instinct and intuition mean that something is coming from within, giving them some knowledge beyond their what normally would be expected. That's super soul. Super soul is above all the demigods. So ultimately, super soul is there in everyone's heart, and he gives direction to the living entities. Because he knows past, present, future. So he knows all the desires of every living entity. And the living entity had a desire to taste a certain type of eatable. So now, in this body, they're given that opportunity to taste that type of eatable that they wanted to. And Lord Krishna is there as super soul. So you wanted to eat these and taste this. Here's your opportunity. Go ahead. Or you wanted to enjoy sex life in a particular way. Here's a chance now. There's a female. It's all going on. Living entity is not individually capable of doing anything. It all goes through the system. He puts in a request. He has a desire. So the desire is taken to the top authority. The top authority. He may delegate that to a particular director. Go see Vayu. Vayu will take care. Go see Varuna. Varuna takes care of the flowing parts of the body, the blood flowing, connected. And Indra, he's charge of the movements of the arms. So then I'll say that's Indra's division. And the seeing is connected to the sun, because we can't see with these eyes unless there's sunlight, either direct or stored in terms of some kind of in terms of some kind of battery powered or lamps or something, stored light, stored sun. So those who have trouble with certain parts of the body, they're advised to please the demigods, because the demigods are taking care. But ultimately, Krishna is the Lord above all the demigods, so one who worships Krishna doesn't have to worship individually all the demigods, 33 crores of demigods. That means 330 million demigods. It's a lot of work, and each one has a different way you're supposed to worship them. If you make mistakes, and they get upset. And they can only give, they don't live that long. I mean, they live longer than us, but not eternally. So it doesn't make sense to think that one's this body and just try to do everything around the body. Because the body, no matter how well you keep it or how many demigods you worship, you won't get an eternal body. We found that out with Hiranyakashipu. He did austerities for a very long time to please Lord Brahma, the top demigod in the universe. And he wanted as his benediction that he would not die. And Brahma said, I don't even have that. So everyone has to die. But the soul doesn't die. Anyone who becomes embodied in material bodies, they have to die and change their body. But the soul acting on the spiritual platform is completely free. You're completely released from the dying and the birth program. And if you get rid of the birth program, then there's no more death. So if you stop birth, that doesn't mean birth control. That means stop taking your birth in the material world. And how do you do that? You have to change your desires. Because as long as you have a desire for material things, then you take birth. You want to fulfill different desires. Let's say you have a desire, you want to be a demigod. In India, they believe in demigods. They believe in heavenly delights. And they perform pious activities, or they please the demigods in charge of these different places. They perform sacrifices, or they do pious activities. They somehow or other, through all these different ways, they become qualified. And the next life, they can enjoy for thousands of years. That's a long time. Our relationships don't last that long here. Sometimes maybe less than a few weeks. Our romantic escapades, but they're for thousands of years. And in fact, in the heavenly planets, there's one where they just go on enjoying romantic things the whole life and no pregnancy. Pregnancy only takes place in the last year. And so you can just imagine a lot of pleasure without any apparent responsibilities or discomfort. But there's a but. The small clause, the small writing is Shine punye marjalokam vishanti. And after some time, he uses up all his credits. Then he falls down again to the lower planets, the middle and lower planets. And then he's back where we are here. This kind of the middle, the mode of passion is he doesn't have too much enjoyment and he doesn't have too much misery. He has a pretty good amount of. That's why demigods who are smart, they're praying to take birth in Bharatvarsha, in the earth. Because here, if one practices, for example, devotional service, for one lifetime, or whatever's left of this lifetime, we didn't do all of it, but whenever we start, if we practice till the rest of our days, you can go back to Godhead. You can surpass all the sages, all the demigods, planets, go back to the spiritual world, no more trouble. So they think it's better to do that. Why? Because in the planets of the demigods, it's so attractive, one may just get captivated. We have some experience of this. If you go, for example, to the beach and try to distribute literature to the people, it's hard because they're trying to enjoy. And or if you go to a drive-in theater and try to approach the people during the show, they're not very much interested in what you have to say because they're in the act of trying to enjoy. Demigods really know how to enjoy, and they don't think they need anything else. That's what happens. That's how Maya's there for the demigods too. So the human form of life is great because we know what suffering is, and we have some taste for enjoyment too. But with our rational intelligence, we can decide the enjoyment is not worth it here for all the suffering I have to go through. And if they believe in God or any scripture, all the scriptures say, all the recognized scriptures say, if you do things acting against God's will, then you'll pay some price for it. That's in Vedic culture we say karma. In Christianity, say eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, same thing. So it's better to be where we are for self-realization. For sense gratification, then you can go there, and to use up your credit, fall down again. So why do that? We've been doing that. Uparyada, we've gone up and we've gone down. Up to the higher planetary system and then down again. Down to the germ species. So when one gets tired of that, now someone may say, well, how can you get tired and just remember his previous life? It's true. We don't remember. But if one has a little bit of intelligence and a little faith, and he reads the Vedas, and the Vedas say, yes, you had all these different species. It's like our mother tells us, yes, you were a little baby. Yes, you were an embryo. Yes, you had this kind of body. When you were 2, you broke your toe here. He doesn't remember. He says, I remember. So he trusts her, he believes her. The Vedas are compared to the mother. Veda Mata. So one should have faith in the scriptures. They give perfect knowledge about things beyond our experience. Because they reveal knowledge from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who knows everything. The scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita is especially important because Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, is speaking directly. And only 5,000 years ago on this planet. It's amazing we have such a book. It's amazing there's such a book that people are not interested in. It's amazing how we can be so. But if one is actually a little intelligent and fortunate, as soon as he reads it, then, that's it. All his questions are answered, and he accepts it. In other words, this knowledge is so self-effulgent. Bhagavatam says, as brilliant as the sun. Puranarko nudodita. This Bhagavad Purana is as brilliant as the sun. So, in the darkness, the sun lights up everything. So this knowledge is not that one has to be some kind of a special Sanskrit scholar. It just has to be of human intellect. That's a fact. It needs human. And a little faith, somehow or other, a little pious credit, and it makes perfect sense. Then he can give up all material activities. Then he can give up the so-called enjoyments because he sees the price tag behind the so-called enjoyment. It's not as easy as we think. We think, no, I just have sense enjoyment, and then I turn around and do something else. I never have to pay for it. It's not true. You may get diseases. You don't even know where you got that disease. You don't know that something you did, you came in contact with some germs. You don't realize that. Just because you don't realize it doesn't mean there was no connection between your activities. And just because I don't remember what I was in my previous life means I didn't live before. No, that's not proof. Because we don't remember so many things in this life. But they were done. So there's really no evidence for proving there's no soul. It's completely makes perfect sense that there is a living force. The scientists would say, prefer to say force than person. All right, so let's leave out the person. So where's the living force? What is it that lives? And I think maybe the genes. But I spoke to a scientist who knows all about the genes and the cells. He said that's also considered material. Science does not accept anything beyond matter. So then if matter has all changed, they say every 7 years all the cells are changed in the body. So if I've changed X number of times my whole body, There are no cells left that are the same. How do I remember anything? And what is the living? Where's the living force? And it's the living force. If you're so sure about where it is and what it is, why can't you produce it? It'd be nice to have some spare living forces in our cabinet in case anything happens today. Just pull it out, stick it in, ding dong, and it works again. So they don't know what the living force is. Living force is that soul. And that soul, mamai vangso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Krishna says, all these living entities are my parts and parcels, eternally. They come from me. They don't come from matter. They're not made of matter. I heard you all discussing these verses the other day. The verse about the Bhumir, what was it, 9.4? Bhumir pondalo vayu kamanur evacha ankari tiyame bina prakatra. Well, that's 7th chapter. Yeah. Then aparayam iptastanyam prakatim vidime param jiva bhuta mahabahu yedam daryate. Brilliant exposition, 2 verses. All matter summarized in how many ways? Ashtada. 8. These 8 material elements are my separated material energy. And then there's another one. Aparayam itastvanyam prakutim vidime param. This is a superior one. Better than those 8. This one. Jiva bhuta mahabahu. The soul, the living force, is the jiva. That's us. That's the living entity. And you can't create it, and you can't destroy it. That's described in the 2nd chapter. The soul cannot be born, it cannot be created, and it cannot be killed. That's a good explanation. Who else gives an explanation of a living force like that? Can't be created. So they're trying to create it. So what does it say? What does it mean? They're trying to do something that's not possible. That's foolish. It can't be created. Then how does it exist? It exists eternally. My eternal parts and parcels, Krishna says. So if we start taking Krishna seriously, we see that everything makes sense. And if we don't take Krishna seriously, nothing makes sense. Everything's just completely chaotic and insane. Because how can everything come from nothing? And if you say everything doesn't come from nothing, then go to the Hayden Planetarium in New York and see what they say about where the universe came from. It came from the void, they say. And the void is nothing. And the universe is everything. So, but without Krishna consciousness, without devotional service, even as simple as this is, as sensible as it is, one won't be able to understand it. They have to get, and what is that devotional service? Association with devotees. Because then they hear. They hear from the devotees, they're getting association, they're hearing the absolute truth spoken, realized. The devotees have realization. They believe it. They don't just believe it. If they wouldn't believe it, they wouldn't act on it. They wouldn't have given up all their material attachments. And that's why Prabhupada was such a powerful preacher. And he used the Westerners as like the ramrod. Wherever he'd go, like especially in India, he used the Americans and Europeans. He said, how have they done it? How have they given up all these things? They don't even drink tea and coffee. And Indians, they know it's their culture, they're supposed to follow it. They've given it up, so Prabhupada, Ram, this is the nature of the soul. A question? What? I would have gone on for another. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
I thought I was going crazy.
These work on batteries. The life force for that clock is a battery. I have them if you need them.
Nectar.